Hello everyone, this video is the astrological reading here at Lilly Sky Tarot, Lilly Sky Messages. So they're all real messages really about what you are feeling or could potentially feeling based on your zodiac sign at the new moon in Gemini, which happens to be an eclipse, a solar eclipse, okay, on the new moon in Gemini. A new moon, a new start, a new cycle, moving from the waning moon into the day after the new moon, waxing moon, where the moon is getting closer to the earth and it's leading us up to our third and final eclipse, which is the lunar eclipse, the full moon eclipse, okay? And that one is going to be July 4th, a Saturday in Capricorn. Okay, so right now we're focusing on the new moon in Gemini, the solar eclipse, the eclipse of the sun, okay, the self. All right, now let me pause this for a moment. I had to plug in the mic again. So what is natural to you and what would you naturally take for granted? Okay. I hope this doesn't affect the mic too much. What would you naturally take for granted? And that return of it. Okay. So it's an absence and a return, or you could say darkness and light. Okay. And I have to do a video on darkness because it has gotten darkness and light is not the true meaning of it spiritually. What we think darkness is something bad and light is something good. They're both good and bad. It all depends on how you're using it. And it's also a time of really reflecting and how you're going to use both of those. Okay, how you use it. Pretty much in short. There you go. So the spiritual meaning of the solar eclipse is very powerful. It's a powerful teacher for self. Okay, because the sun has to do with you, yourself, your identity, you. Okay, it has to do with shift. Okay, things changing. How do you react to that within yourself, and how do you treat others based on that shift or that change? Okay, it's something that it's gonna change. It's just part of life. Nothing is the same as it was 1,000 years ago, and so on. And the solar eclipse, and I think eclipse in general really, is about a natural cycle, right? So we are in this solar system, right? This cycle, okay? And this is a natural thing that happens. And as we grow, we understand it. Our ancestors understand it one way. We understand it in more details, okay, the science of it, and also if we choose to hold on to some of the spiritual meanings of the solar eclipse. So it's really a powerful teacher of time, also of, like I said, of shift, of absence, and the return of what was absent from you. Now, in my past videos, I talked about how it affects the trees, right? So if you're practicing, like say Qigong or anything spiritual, the trees will react to it where in that location, because it's light and then it becomes dark, and it's kind of like affects the air also. If you look at it spiritually, just for that moment, it will affect it. Okay, and it's a 21 minutes of that whole effect, so that's almost at half an hour. So that's a long duration of that, the moon casting a shadow on the earth, right? The moon blocking the light of the sun. So we can look at it as the moon and the emotion, and the sun being the self, right? So how is our emotions blocking us? And I was talking about this in the other video, that the other video that I filmed before this one is titled New Moon, something like New Moon Eclipse, New Moon Gemini Eclipse message. Okay, it was the message, right? So the astrological message. And I was talking about people born under the solar eclipse and how their personality is. But it's a battle. This actually, I didn't write this down before, but this explains it quite well. It's like a battle. If you're born on a solar eclipse, this is like a battle of your emotion versus what your self identity in this life wants. I like that. Okay, so let's move on. So let me read your charts, okay, and tell you what each sign could potentially be experiencing. The tricky one is going to be reading Sagittarius, we're Scorpio, and Scorpio right here, and the in between that. Okay, so that it shouldn't be that hard because there's nothing really there, and yeah, nothing's really hard. So I'm looking at a 12-month cycle, and I'm reading it intuitively as well. Okay, so hang on for the ride. So let me start kindly with the season I'm in. Let's give some props to Cancer. So I'm going to start off with Cancer. Okay, so Cancer, you have Mercury and the Sun, being that's the birthday season, Cancer. Okay, so Cancer's on the solar eclipse in Gemini, June 20th and 21st. You could be feeling these energies. Cancer, it's about communicating slowly and making sure that you are really perceiving the messages that people are saying to you and that you're saying to yourself correctly. You're in your sun's cycle, your birthday cycle, so it's a great time for you after the solar eclipse to empower yourself under the upcoming waxing moon. Okay, if you guys have any questions, that's where the comment is for, or messaging me on any of my platforms. Okay. Right, so the 5th house is very powerful in communicating. You can take about 24 minutes of silence, because 14 degrees, 24 minutes, okay, is where Mercury is. So you can use the minutes in the astrology as a time reference for meditation, or since it's under an eclipse, there's no pulling of energy, no meditating necessarily. It's just mindfulness meditation is probably the only one that I would recommend under an eclipse, is to just, you know, observe yourself and others. You can take notes if you want to, okay, if you have the opportunity to. So Cancer, let's move to Leo. Okay, so Leo, you are, oh, and another thing, on the solar eclipse day on June 20th and 21st, the strongest element is water. So all water signs can benefit from that, especially Cancer. Okay, so very powerful element for that day is water. And of course, it's a solar eclipse, so that whole energy of water and fire. And just research that and see what it means, okay? Because then the video will be so long. Now, Leo, you're going to have a lot of 6th house issues, okay? A lot of 6th house issues is about, is like a Virgo energy, but the 6th house is about work and your daily life and how you serve yourself while you're trying to help others. So a lot of 6th house issues. So look into, anytime I mention a house for your sign, look into it. There's no planets there. Okay, now Virgo, you are in the descending. And this, your main thing is getting organized and focused for your future projects, future goals, or everything that's happening in the world and in your life. Is organizing and focusing, okay? And if you are not a Virgo, but you have a Virgo moon, then this is powerful for you to do it within the waxing moon. You might be feeling that right now, and you'll definitely feel it whenever the moon is in Virgo, to get organized and prepare yourself for the rest of this calendar year and for the rest of the spiritual year, which ends in March and begins in March, okay? So Cancer, no planets. It's just about you. It's about what you need to get organized, and also I have to use highlighters. Also, think about what you can't see and what you can see, right? But not worrying about that, just preparing yourself, and everyone can learn from that. Okay, Libra. Libra is experiencing some 7th house, some 8th house issues for you. Okay, but mainly a lot of 7th house issues of marriage, partnerships, and really being aware of any kind of partnerships you have, co-workers, be aware of them, just how you handle yourself. There's no planets there, but you can always look over to Aries, you know, that has Chiron and Lilith there. So really look at your healing, how you heal yourself, how you handle any kind of any kind of difficulties, right? And how you can kind of cool the emotions of others and kind of put things into balance, and just being a diplomat that you can. But it really has to do with partnerships, and for others it could be just personal, private, marriage relationships, or co-workers or acquaintances, okay? Scorpio will be dealing with a lot of 8th house issues. So that could be coming into some money. There's no planetary help there for you, so it's really you manifesting money for yourself. And the best way that you can do that is to look at how you're personally blocking yourself, and what are you fighting against within you. You can look over to Taurus, who has Uranus, okay? So look at what you're not really seeing to really clear yourself up, okay? Because you're in your own house, which is really helpful for you. Now, Sagittarius, your words hold power because you're in a prominent area of the chart. So you will be experiencing 9th and 10th house issues, but it's very powerful. I skipped over, I'll back up. Let me back up. So if you identify with Ophiuchus, okay, the 13th zodiac, if your birthday is between the 30th of November and the 7th of December, you want to really look at 9th house issues, okay? 8th and 9th house issues that you'll be dealing with. No zodiac signs. I mean, no planets are involved. So you want to look at how you're handling your money and what you're saying or writing, okay? It can have a powerful impact on you. Anything that you're doing with money, and a lot of you guys who are Ophiuchus sign, you're either identify as a Scorpio or a Sagittarius. So this is like an extra bonus, right? So if your birthday is between November 30th and December 17th, you have a very controlling, you want to dominate whatever is powerful, or you very much want to be in control, okay? And you want to make sure that you're as strong as you can be, is really what that sign represents. It's dominance and strength. And when you tap into that energy, make sure that you're balanced when you do it, so it's not full of anger, it's not full of that fire and water element, okay? All right. So, and it creates a steam, its own air. So you want to make sure that you're always balanced in your emotions, and you want to make sure it's a mix between the 8th and the 9th house experiences. So whatever you're planning or doing, make sure that you're really focused and balanced, especially when you're dealing with money or anything you're writing, or any kind of thing that is published, or anything internet-wise, anything that's written or spoken. You want to be careful with that. Okay, on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you're in a prominent position where your words hold power. You're at center stage in the MC. So a lot of 9th and 10th house issues. You are in the south node, I believe. So it is past karma issues will come up, past life experiences, past relationships. That's what's going to be powerful on June 20th and June 21st. Okay. Now, Capricorn, it is all about Jupiter for you. Okay. Now, because it's chaotic energy of the solar eclipse and the self-identity mixing with the emotions, you want to make sure that you are not testing your luck. Okay. At least for 7 minutes within that 21 minutes of the high peak of the new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. And the high peak happens Pacific time at 11:41 p.m. Okay, so just calculate that for your time zone. So it's really you have Saturn there as well, and Pluto. Okay, Pluto is very powerful with that 18 minutes of strength within that time frame. Okay, and 40 minutes of Saturn, right? Even stronger. And Jupiter is 7 minutes. So it's a very powerful energy. Okay, so it's really speak less, because all of those planets are in retrograde, so it's really thinking a lot before you speak, and it's like everything's conflicting with what you want to do, what you think you want to do, you aspire to do. And if you have a strong group presence, you also want to be mindful of that. Okay, and just be mindful of anger. Okay, and your emotions. Okay, because all of that kind of trine. Okay, now yes, that's definitely what it is. Let me click into what Saturn is doing. Okay, yeah. So especially when it comes to relationship, trining with Venus. So it's really being as still as you can. You'd benefit the most of kind of mindfulness. Okay. All right. So Aquarius definitely has the Saturn, the strong Saturn presence there of the 40 minutes of Saturn, right? So Aquarius even has it stronger than Capricorn. So Aquarius, you have that strong Saturn energy. You'll be looking at a lot of 12th house issues with your dream, your spiritual life, just really helping you to grow and to be more strict with yourself, but also that energy is also very worldly as well. So it's going to produce a feeling of not putting up with anything that is against the future or the present or what is old. It's like there's no patience for what is old and chaotic, and it's out of time, it's out of date. Okay, so trying to manage that Saturn energy, especially if something is restricting and it's slow moving. Okay, now moving over, so just handling that. Okay, and handle it with yeah, it's everything that the 12th house represents: self-sabotage, transcendency. It's like, can you really see through things? You know, it's really powerful. It has to do with institutions and what's organized, and is the organization of something not working for you and for the collective. Okay, and still trying to find peace in your air sign, in your emotions, along with that air sign in your future thinking, right? Trying to find solitude and peace of mind. So really, like that Zen kind of mindfulness meditation will really help Aquarius, and also air signs and water signs can really benefit from that. Okay, so as an air sign and a future thinker, it's a really powerful solar eclipse of self-reflecting and what's good for self. And what's good for self, you also care for others. So that's also very passionate and a strong energy for the solar eclipse. Okay. Try not to get too deep. Okay. So then Pisces has the Fortuna, right, in the ascending. So what can you see? Okay. But you also have Aries there as well. Okay. And it's, whenever you have Aries, you just have to be strong enough to handle that fight energy, that power energy, that strong energy, that defending energy. Okay. And you also have Neptune. Okay. So you're also dealing with anything that's an illusion. It's breaking that down. Okay. And Pisces is really bringing the message, the deeper message that is harder to see. Okay. And Pisces being in the first house and Mercury in the first house in its own home is very powerful. So it could be very empowering and healing for you, but it's also an eclipse, so it has that chaotic energy. So really being mindful of your money or your luck, you say, your blessings, just being mindful of your words so that you don't cause damage to yourself. Okay. Now, Aries has Lilith and Chiron, so it's a mixture of handling difficult problems, difficult situation, along with helping others, and then trying to help yourself as well. Okay, so Aries still also in the first house. Chiron is also in the first house. Okay, a lot of experiences with that, and yeah, it can be very powerful. Okay. Now, moving on to Taurus. Taurus, you are experiencing a lot of second house issues, and you're pretty much in second and third for some of you. So you're pretty much in a second house experience of your money and what you value. Okay. Your own zone, if you will. Okay, your personal resources, where you're going to put your money towards what you're passionate about that can bring in more harmony. Okay, kind of like Cancer, it's like bringing in more harmony into the world, right, into your space, and really putting out that positive energy for the future. But you also feel the need to rebel and to be original in your message and in your work, and really promoting freedom, right, and really wanting that balanced energy. Especially it's like for home, but also for everywhere you go, you want that safe experience, right? That bull is strong and powerful, and it's like, don't mess with me, like I'm chilling here, like it's that kind of energy, right? It's like that spirit of the bull. Okay. And it could be like a cow too. It's like think of any goddess that represents that. It's a very powerful energy. Okay. And it's, if you think of the nurturing, right, but also the horn of like, don't mess with me. Right. So moving on to Gemini. Gemini is in a powerful position right now to offer the message of love and harmony, right? But it's really hard right now. Okay, because it's kind of in that I need to protect my relationship, my freedom, my it's really in an area of love, but also social, like love for everyone's relationship. So it's in a powerful position also of what you can't see, right? It's in the IC. So it's what are you not really seeing is what Gemini is asking you. And then how does that relate to your love and your passion and what is beautiful to you? What do you consider to be beautiful? Why? What do you consider to be yours and why? Is it really yours? Is it really beautiful? And how are you protecting that? How are you defending that? How are you relating to that? Finding the balance of that and really looking at it, because Venus is also in retrograde. So it's a slow perception of that. And Gemini is definitely experiencing a lot of third house Gemini issues, and also a bit of the fourth house Cancer issues. right? So really, or fourth house, yeah, fourth house. Yeah, fourth house Cancer issues, okay? And the fifth house is that Leo strength issue. So Gemini really is seeing that third house and fourth house issues, and Gemini is like, what are you not seeing? Because you're all about communicating, so you're expecting people to show you the truth, right? But that's not always the case. That people will show you what they want you to see. So what do you actually need to see, right? And we just came out of Gemini season, right? So, but we're still in it from this solar eclipse. It's the self and how we communicate with ourselves. What's our compassion for ourselves under this Cancer season? We're in Cancer season. We're in that Gemini new moon, right? And it's an eclipse. So it's really asking us to have a powerful shift within ourselves from how can we be our own spiritual teacher in understanding the importance of time, understanding the importance of cycles, how things change, the importance of that natural flow to life, the natural flow of our own cycle, of our own moods, our own needs, our own energy, right? How do we treat things when they're present in our life? And then how can we understand it if it's absent, if we've never, it's really trying to understand something that you've never experienced, or missing something that you once had, right? But then trying to find that balance for it. So it's really appreciating everything. So it's a powerful teacher. How can we be our own powerful teacher? And that's really for everyone. This solar eclipse is really taking ourselves out of ourselves for a moment. For those 21 minutes, if you're up, just observing yourself, just being still, maybe, looking out the window, or, being still in your home. Some people will be filming the eclipse. In some traditions, they believe, it's better to just be inside, because the energy is chaotic. So it's up to you, however you're going to spend the solar eclipse. If you have pictures, definitely share them on one of my platforms. And if you're in that area, definitely click like so someone else can see this video, can receive the reading. And just let me know how the eclipse was for you. Did it relate to the astrology, and so on? All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget, click like and comment, and thank you guys for watching.